baby's having his picture taken this morning. I can't count the number of times I've been asked why we're keeping our baby a secret.
The only way to quiet that kind of talk is to have our small-minded friends open up their newspapers and see a photograph of the prettiest baby in the city.
I am Mr. Charlie, photographer, the babe. You were expecting us. What a gorgeous baby. May I have some time alone with the child? You really think we can get away with this? If you can.
There are 5 million people in this city and thousands of places where your boy could be. Now, I understand how you feel.
Have you ever lost a child?
No, ma'am.
Then you can't possibly know how I feel. I believe in my heart that someone somewhere watches over the babies.
If he were home, he'd be going down for his nap.
Babies are more dangerous than we thought.
Hello, I'm Katie, and welcome back to Retromade, your pop culture rewind. Today we're heading back to 1994, when pop culture was firing on all cylinders, I must say, to revisit Baby's Day Out, a movie that dares to ask what if a baby could outwit 3 grown criminals without even trying. We will get into the chaos, the cartoon logic, and whether this one holds up at all, plus a quick trip through some 1994 trivia to set the scene. Joining me is a returning guest, Milo Denison, from the 80s and 90s Uncensored, which you recently rolled out a bit of an update. So Milo, good to have you back. Is there anything new with the show or anything upcoming that you want to tell us about and where we can find you?
Yeah, a bit of a change of the show. I used to co-host it with a good friend of mine, Jamie Fedderson, and so he's stepped back from the show to focus on other areas. So it's a solo show now, and kind of changed the format up a little bit. I'm doing a bit of just solo episodes where I talk about interesting historic facts from the 80s and 90s, and then bringing on a kind of a rotating guest hosts. Just had you on, which was fun, and so that'll be coming up here soon. And yeah, so kind of revitalized it, reformatted it a little bit. So we'll see how it goes.
Nice. I'm looking forward to the new format and see what episodes you have upcoming. Speaking of which, thank you for having me on. So at some point in an upcoming episode, I will tell you guys, sneak peek is Sly versus Arnold, which was super fun. I'm kind of surprised you guys hadn't done that yet, given the 80s and 90s and the action of it all. But that does remind me, before we get into our discussion about 1994 and Baby's Day Out, if you do like Sly movies, particularly Rocky, I'm lucky enough to get to join an excellent podcasting team discussing this series in a very in-depth way, so much so that each movie is an entire season. And we've just wrapped our 6 seasons of coverage, but it is all there for your binging pleasure. So the easiest way to find that is to head over to YouTube and search for One More Round, the Rocky Series podcast. So if you're into Sly, I would check that out. And speaking of YouTube, while you're there, please head on over to the Retromade podcast channel and subscribe if you have not done so already. That's where you can see the episodes in video form. You can see me and my lovely guests, and you can actually comment and interact with the episodes right there. So please do so. But Milo, before we get into Baby's Day Out, shall we open the time capsule from 1994?
Let's do it. I remember 1994, so let's see what you've got in your time capsule.
All right, we're going to spin the Retromade trivia wheel. So we've covered some of the categories already from 1994 in one of the Christmas episodes. So John Hughes he did the remake of Miracle on 34th Street. I don't know if you remember that one, Milo, but
Yeah, I do remember that. I really like the original Miracle on 34th Street, so I think it's one of those films that shouldn't have been remade.
yeah, I think a lot of people felt that way. It was quite good, but at any rate, check out that episode if you're interested in hearing my thoughts and my guest thoughts on that. But Milo, the reason I'm bringing that up is that if we come to a category that we've already covered, we'll just spin again. So I'm going to spin on your behalf, and we shall see. Pages of the Past, I believe, is fair game. As you might guess, this is books and magazines. The literary world was a mix of legal thrillers. There was a rise of Oprah's influence on reading habits at this time, the debut of era-defining magazines. So I've got some trivia questions. These are a little harder than they usually are. I think sometimes my trivia questions are too easy. But which former attorney turned author dominated the 1994 bestseller lists with legal thrillers like The Chamber?
It's got to be John Grisham.
Yes, I didn't even need to finish
Yeah, you had me at legal thrillers. Like,
Okay.
he was so huge back then with his books. Like everybody was reading his books, and they were all being turned into movies.
They were. I should have looked up how many had turned into movies. The Client is one that definitely was turned into a movie. I don't think I've read any John Grisham novels.
I think I've read one. Did he write Congo?
Oh, I don't know.
If he wrote Congo, then I read that one.
Okay.
Because I know I've read that. And I think he wrote that. I could be wrong. But again, I'm not really big on thrillers and especially like legal thrillers. So yeah, that's probably why I didn't read too many.
That was definitely not my jam in the mid 90s, but it kind of is now. But there's just so much stuff that there's just a lot. Yeah. But good answer. This one I don't think I would get this correct. So I'd be shocked if you did. This is where Oprah's influence is coming into play.
Uh-oh.
What 94 cookbook became one of the fastest selling books in history after its author, if I say the name, it might give it away, appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show to share secrets of Oprah's weight loss.
Oh, is this like one of those fad diets for a while that like everybody was only eating meat or something like that? Or I don't know.
To be honest, I'm not sure. I am not familiar with this person. So listeners, let me know if you are. This one completely missed me. I don't think Oprah kept the weight. I think she's one of those that kind of yo-yos with her weight.
Yeah.
But the answer is In the Kitchen with Rosie, Oprah's favorite recipes.
Never heard of it.
Same. I mean, I guess the book sold over 5 million copies in its first year, kind of showcasing the Oprah effect in the publishing industry. But I guess in 94, again, that was not my jam. Let's see. This one I think is also hard. I love true crime, but at the time I wasn't into this. And so this one missed me. Which nonfiction true crime book by John Berendt debuted in 94, detailing a high society murder in Savannah, Georgia, went on to spend a record-breaking 216 weeks on the bestseller list?
Oh, I do know this. Because it was turned into a movie, actually, as well. Gardens of something or something like that.
Yes, Milo, you're on the right track.
I can't remember the exact name.
It is
Gardens of Louisiana or something like that, like something gardeny.
Yep, it's Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
I don't. Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Did you read it
I did not read it. I just
or
remember
watch the
because it
movie?
was so huge, and I saw the movie.
Okay. Was it any good?
It was good. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Oh, I guess that the book's success turned the city of Savannah into a major tourist destination.
I believe that it was. Yeah, it was pretty. It was huge. I do recall it being like a big, big deal. That how popular that book was.
I did name my very first dog that I adopted as an adult Savannah. I don't know if there was something subconscious there. I just think it's a pretty name. But all right, the next question is which iconic fashion and lifestyle magazine, known for its focus on celebrity homes and get the look features, like the cover would say, get so and so's look, published its very first issue in June 1994 with Barbara Streisand on the cover?
I have no idea on this one.
I don't think I would get this either. Sorry, these are very hard, but you're doing pretty well. It is In Style magazine.
Cool. Good for In Style magazine. That I mean, I'm sure I've heard of it.
Oh, I've definitely heard of In Style. I've read In Style. I didn't know it started at this time. And yeah, okay.
I agree. I kind of feel like that would have been an older magazine that had been around longer.
Yeah, yeah, totally. This one is sort of an expansion of a magazine.
Okay.
So it started as a small health newsletter and it became a global powerhouse in 94 by expanding its lifestyle content to include things like abs in 6 weeks, like that style of cover, as well as relationship advice.
Not like GQ or Men's Health or something like that. Is it?
Men's health.
Is it
Men's
Men's
health.
Health? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Very good.
Yay! I got 2.5 right.
You did. Were you suckered in by the abs in 6 weeks?
I was a Men's Health reader. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
I'd go like attempt to be in shape and exercise occasionally and stuff like that. So I definitely I read it I had a subscription for a while. I was one of those people.
I was suckered in by all of the various contraptions for abs. I was big into abs.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been the thing in the mid 90s. So I bought all of the infomercial style, like Suzanne Summers had like the Thigh Master, and there was like this ab. I can picture it. I don't even remember what it was called, but I bought a bunch of ab related devices that, didn't really help me a
It
whole
didn't
lot.
actually do much. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you had to use it pretty regularly to get
Really, that makes a
results,
difference. Yeah.
I guess. All right. Well, let's maybe find you an easier category. That was a really hard one.
All right.
Oh boy, it's on the cusp, but return to tune time.
Tune time. Okay.
Yeah.
This kind of leads towards our topic a bit. Ish.
A little, yes, it does. Now, 94, this was, I'm not watching Saturday morning cartoons at this time, but there was kind of they were still peaking kid culture, the Saturday morning cartoons with the like ABC, NBC, and CBS, but there was a rising Fox Kids channel with a fair amount of content that were battling for our eyeballs there. So
Yeah, you
keep
had
that in mind.
Nickelodeon and all of those
Yeah.
around that time that were getting big. Yeah.
Yeah. So keep that in mind. So
Okay.
the first one is a Fox Kids powerhouse,
All right.
and it featured a team of mutants led by a certain professor. And because if I say his name, it'll give it away.
I think I know where you're going already on this one. Yeah.
He became famous for its iconic theme song and complex storylines like
Yeah.
the Phoenix Saga. I did not watch this, but I bet
did.
boys did.
We did an episode about it, actually, X-Men, the animated series. And it was really well done because it dealt with a lot of adult themes. It dealt with like, the way the mutants are treated. Obviously, that's the whole X-Men thing, right? And instead of just standalone episodes, you had that like storyline that carried on throughout the entire series as it evolved. So it was really, really well done.
That actually really surprises me. I don't know why. Just that kind of thing isn't for me. So much so, I believe it maybe helped pave the way for all of the superhero movies that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a miss for me too. I'm sure they're all wonderful, but they're not for me.
I can understand that. I, for a while, was into some of the superhero movies, but they've just been done so to death. And the plot is the same on every single one of them. And yeah, I can't watch them anymore. I've completely lost interest. But I would recommend X-Men, the animated series, just because it was the precursor to all of this. And again, this is a cartoon directed towards children that deals with a lot of adult subjects in a lot of ways. So
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
The next one I kind of put in the same category. Also have not seen, but I'm aware of its place in the pop culture zeitgeist. It is technically live action. Now I know we're in Return to Toon time, but it was a Saturday morning phenomenon. And it used Japanese Super Sentai footage to tell the story of 5 teenagers with attitude chosen by Zordon to save Earth.
Oh, is this that? I didn't watch it. That they kind of combined and formed like a big mech thing or something at some point. What was the name of that show? I know the show you're talking about.
Everyone's probably screaming because, I mean, it was very popular.
It was so popular. I'm kicking myself for not thinking of the name of it either.
I think they each
'cause I
have a
should know
color.
this. They
I'm
do
pretty
each
sure.
have a color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give up? It's on the
Yeah,
tip
I'm
of
gonna
your
have
tongue.
to. I know I'll know it as soon as you say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
It is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yes. I'm an idiot. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
They're probably vastly different shows, but in my brain, it and the X-Men are the same. I don't know. Maybe
Vastly
genre?
different, yeah.
Yeah.
Power
okay.
Rangers, I had no interest in whatsoever.
The next one I am familiar with.
Okay.
So it is produced by Steven Spielberg.
Is it Animaniacs?
It is. I didn't even.
You did.
Yes,
Once you had me at Steven Spielberg. Yep.
Boy, it won multiple Daytime Emmy Awards, and it was beloved by adults for its pastiche style and witty, fast-paced humor.
Yeah, I didn't get into Animaniacs. I kind of feel like I might have felt I was too old for it at the time. Now I would probably appreciate it. Like I was at that age where I'm too old for cartoons, but too young to appreciate cartoons as an older person that does.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I was when Animaniacs came out.
Similar, I feel like it was just on. Sometimes it either came on before or after something that I did watch. So I'm aware of it, but I was never a fan per se. The next one I'm also familiar with, but I didn't watch it. There was also a video game series.
Okay.
Darker story-driven cartoon featuring Blue Burr as the leader of a group of freedom fighters rebelling against the tyrannical Dr. Robotnik. I don't know how they pronounce it.
Okay. This one doesn't ring a bell.
That clue wouldn't help me. I will say it's an animal. The main character is an animal.
Okay. I'm still lost.
And there were two, I don't know what the other one is. There were 2 different cartoons like this with the same character airing at the same time. This version was known for its more serious tone compared to the slapstick weekday version. Maybe that's the one I'm more familiar with. There's a video game of the same name.
Clueless.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, gee, that's right. They did a Sonic the Hedgehog. I forgot that there even was a Sonic cartoon.
Me too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I remember. I know they did the movies, and I actually had the game. I had the little PlayStation Portable or whatever it was called, the little portable one, and I had
Oh.
that game. I
Okay.
totally forgot that they did a Sonic cartoon. Completely forgot about it.
I feel like I was at a friend's house once and they had a Sega, like a different gaming console.
Or yeah,
For-
Sega, not Sony. I mean, sorry.
I don't know if it was
Yeah.
if it was only made available for Sega. Is
It
that
was.
so? Then you got to buy all the gaming consoles if you want to play the games. I mean, this is how they get you, man. Last question.
Okay, let's see if I do better on this one.
You probably will. Okay, it's debuting in late 1994. Which Marvel series followed a certain person's life at Empire State University while balancing being a hero and dealing with the Sinister Six? If I give Peter Parker,
Was it a Spider-Man cartoon? Was like Spider? So I'm guessing some kind of Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, the animated series.
Oh, okay. Didn't
Yeah,
watch it.
I didn't either. I didn't watch any of these, but I guess it was like really big ratings wise on Fox Kids.
Wow, good
yeah.
for it. I remember watching a previous iteration of Spider-Man when I was younger. Like
in
they
the
must have done
80s?
70s or 80s version of
Okay.
Spider-Man. That one I watched, but this one I guess I wouldn't have. Like the thing is, like 94. I mean, I would have been in college at the time for me. So just finishing, just out of high school, just going into college. So my life
This
was
is
really
so not
focused on that kind of stuff at that time. Yeah.
Well, let's spin another category because you've gotten really hard ones, Milo.
It's
the
okay.
The cartoon one is especially hard. If the 80s ones are easier because we were like, at least like I was a kid then.
Yeah, exactly. 80s cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember all that.
Okay, I feel like given your age at this time, you would know
Okay.
some of these from Retro Runway.
Okay. Claudia Schiffer.
Oh my God, I loved her. I was obsessed. All the magazines had all the supermodels in the 90s, man. It's no wonder we all have eating disorders.
Yeah, it's thanks to those magazines.
So it was 94 was the year fashion officially split between gritty and glossy. So you either looked like you just rolled out of a garage band practice or like you were heading to a high-end mall in Beverly Hills.
Oh yeah, I was totally garage band. Yep.
So speaking of, this one's a giveaway, but inspired by the Seattle music scene, which you're in Seattle, right,
Yeah.
Milo?
Yeah. Grunge, the style that Seattle brought to the world, and the world has been suffering from ever since.
Well, specifically, so you said grunge, but there's what was the plaid shirt?
Oh,
that
the
everyone
flannel
wore?
shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple still, I think, probably.
I have flannel shirts, but not in a grungy way. Like they're from J. Crew, so
Oh, well, that's fashionable then, yeah.
yeah, like the glossy version of it, I suppose. So Kurt Cobain passed in 94, and so he made it famous to be like anti-fashionable, hence this whole grunge look. But high-end designers like Marc Jacobs famously brought the look to the runway, which Kurt was probably like, damn the man, you know?
Yeah, probably.
Plaid was big. I'm picture the movie Clueless for this question.
Okay.
Which schoolgirl aesthetic featuring pleated plaid skirts and matching blazers became a massive trend thanks to filming the 1995 movie Clueless.
So this was like a women's style that was like called something like the short skirts that they wore then? Yeah.
It was two specific items, and I kind of already gave it away, but yet you said short skirts, so plaid mini skirts.
Yeah, I remember those.
And what were paired with them?
Are we going for like the boots? Like the like, what's the appropriate word? Like we used to call them fuck me boots, but
Like the knee-high boots? But
Yeah,
this is
boots,
like,
yeah. Like what are you supposed to say on a
Yeah.
podcast?
Yeah.
That's
those boots still work. Like I
They
gotta
totally
say,
do.
I love a tall boot, but it's not the boots. This is like if you didn't wear a tall boot, if you wore Mary Jane style shoes,
okay.
what
The stockings?
what were they
Oh, there was a name for the stockings.
like? How would you describe them?
Yeah, so they like, so you would actually see like the top of the stocking, like they would come up, and then so you actually had this like kind of gap between the top of the stocking and then where the skirt started, and so you could see a little leg there. It was quite a sexy style. I have to. Yeah, that takes me back. Girls back then were hot.
I mean, Clueless was it.
It totally,
So,
yeah.
plaid mini skirts and knee-high, like knee-high stockings.
Knee-high stockings. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah, it's a good look.
It was a good time to be alive if
It
you're
was.
a boy in college.
Yes. Now, not hot. I mean, I don't know. Maybe guys think it's cute, but it's a denim staple. Kind of became like hip hop culture icons would wear this.
Are you talking about the baggy jeans?
Similar. It's a lot of times they would wear this is going to give it away, but one shoulder strap unbuckled.
Oh, the overalls. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the big baggy overalls with one shoulder strap undone.
Yep.
I remember that.
That's a trend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you name a specific brand of this type of thing?
Levi's?
Yes, probably.
I'm sure they must have done them.
It's like brand. So Oshkosh
Oshkosh
B'gosh
B'gosh, yeah.
and Cross Colors that I'm not familiar with were go-to names for this particular look, apparently.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember Oshkosh B'gosh.
What tight-fitting necklace accessory?
Oh, the choker?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
man, another hot one. I knew this girl that wore those. Ah, she was gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, mid-90s. Became a must-have jewelry item for every teenage girl in 1994. I also had one.
Yeah.
Can you name a store that you might find this particular item in the mall?
Oh, mall store. What was there was one, and it was like kind of everything was really dark at the time in the store. Like
You're thinking of Hot Topic.
Hot Topic. Yeah, I was thinking of Hot Topic.
Yes, that is also a store that sold these. But this is like an accessory store. They also had a bazillion scrunchies that we all would buy.
I'm not sure on this one.
Claire's.
Okay.
you familiar?
I know Claire's, the name, yeah, but I would have never have thought of that, though.
This one you kind of already said. It's adjacent, but I think this is probably more for boys. It is a denim trend.
Okay. Baggy jeans thing. The jorts that Kevin Smith wears all the time with his long baggy jean shorts.
No, but it's the saggy, baggy jeans. So that they were so oversized that the hems would like fray from being drug on the ground. Tommy Hilfiger was a popular brand at this time. Is there another brand that you can think of?
Besides Levi? Wrangler?
Jenko.
Remember
Remember that?
No. I remember this all. Here's the thing. If you think about this, like, think 1994, right? The women looked gorgeous and the men looked disgusting.
Yeah.
Baggy jeans and flannel shirts with it, like just some ratty old t-shirt underneath it. Like it was just this complete opposite of like styles wise. And yeah, I remember the baggy jeans. I remember once watching a guy kind of running across the street and he had to like hike up his jeans and hold on to him so he could run across the street really quick. And then he let go of his jeans again and kind of they drop down and does the cool walk. Yeah, people looked ridiculous. Or guys.
Yeah, there's a specific walk. I can picture like a bunch of dopey, like white dudes, like short, dopey, like stoner white dudes wearing this. But this was kind of a trend, particularly with Tommy Hilfiger, I guess. They saw a really big sales hike after Snoop Dogg wore a Hilfiger sweatshirt on SNL.
Ooh.
So they were kind of known then for this streetwear. And I can actually picture a girl that I went to high school with wore like all Tommy Hilfiger stuff for her senior pictures. It was so much part of our like culture.
He was very popular around that time. You're right. A lot of people were wearing Tommy Hilfiger type stuff.
Yeah. Well, Milo,
well,
you did pretty good. You did pretty
Didn't
good.
completely suck, I guess. Got some of it.
Yeah, I would say those were harder. I wanted to purposefully make these questions harder because I feel like trivia is usually a little too easy. And sometimes when I have guests that are not American, a lot of the pop culture things they're a little harder for them, apparently. But without further ado, shall we get into Baby's Day Out?
Oh, let's do it. Yeah.
We shall. So this movie, Baby's Day Out, it came out July 1st, 1994, PG, obviously. It is a little long for this type of movie, about an hour and 40 minutes, but its IMDb rating is a 6.2, which isn't bad. That's pretty good.
I wanted to just give it those ratings. Well, we can get into this film a little bit.
We will.
Yeah, and I should preface, I'm not the target audience for this film at all.
Who
So,
would you say is the target audience?
well, I think maybe that's probably part of the problem with this film, because I think the target audience for this film is people too young to watch this film and appreciate it. Because if you're old enough to watch it, you probably think it's stupid. If you're a parent watching it, you're watching it because you want your kid to watch it. If you're a child watching it, I don't know if it would be interesting. I don't know who was the target audience for this. 6-year-olds?
You know, what we will get into it. I would say John Hughes, having done this season,
Yeah.
after the success of Home Alone and Home Alone 2, he made so many movies that just kind of tried to recreate that. Almost all of them did not succeed in doing so. I have some specific thoughts about where Baby's Day Out fits among all of those movies that we'll get to, but the players for this movie, we have a director that we have not talked about yet on Retromade, and I think there's a reason why. His name is Patrick Reed Johnson. He doesn't have very many well-known credits, and he was initially hired to direct another kind of knockoff of Home Alone, Dennis the Menace, the year earlier. Now, Patrick Reed Johnson apparently was trying to expand on some of the concepts, and Hughes fired him because he didn't like the fact that he was kind of trying to change his script. So he hired Nick Castle to direct that movie. So after that, Hughes actually called Johnson to apologize and offered him this movie. It seems Hughes he's a very specific personality, as I'm learning. So this Patrick Reed Johnson did not get along with Hughes, clearly. He got fired from one job, and then he was hired for this, and they were continuously fighting over different cuts, poor test screenings. So they both got stressed out and just decided to be done with it. But I also read that after the bad test screening, they got in a heated argument regarding the movie, and they reached a mutual agreement to meet the following day to discuss possible solutions for improving the film. However, later that evening is when the announcement of John Candy's passing was announced. And that news, given Hughes and John Candy were so close, really, really, really affected Hughes. So he just completely stopped giving a shit and didn't communicate after that at all anymore with the director. So, thoughts about this?
That's understandable. I mean, if he already was not happy with the film and just not in the mindset of really bothering with it all that much anymore, and then your good friend like that dies, I can kind of see that. I can kind of see him like being, you know what, I'm done. I got paid. My job's done here. I'm John Hughes. I'll move on. I'll survive.
That is true. Apparently, he was extremely hands-on and involved with this particular pre-production process of Baby's Day Out. But by the middle of filming, even, some staff and crew kind of got annoyed because he just completely backed off, leaving them frustrated with him, even while they were still filming. And I learned that there was a script he was writing that he was trying to get off the ground. So he has a tendency to do that. He's like not finished with one project yet, and then he gets really excited about another one. Have you heard of a script that he wrote called The Bee?
I've heard of it, but that's all I know is that I heard something about it, but it never happened, right? It was just something that he wrote. Yeah.
Yeah. Unmade live action slapstick comedy about a bee who constantly distracts a developer who is almost done building his latest project. At this time, that was the type of movie John Hughes was involved with. All of these, like Dennis the Menace, Baby's Day Out, like there was Home Alone 3. I'm missing several more that are just not coming to mind. Just not good replications of the Home Alone formula. So anyway, if you have not seen Baby's Day Out, which I hadn't, have you seen this before watching it for the show?
No, I had heard of it, but I had never seen it or knew anything about it other than it follows a baby that wanders through the city and comedy ensues.
Yes, that's exactly what it's about. Baby's Day Out follows a wealthy family's infant who's kidnapped by three bumbling criminals, only for the baby to crawl his way through a citywide adventure, unknowingly outsmarting them at every turn. As the crooks struggle to keep up, the baby follows the path of his favorite storybook titled Baby's Day Out, turning their plan into a chaotic slapstick nightmare. So on its face, that sounds like not a bad kids movie, right? Like if you just read the synopsis of Home Alone, it doesn't sound that dissimilar, like an 8-year-old like outwitting these bumbling criminals. But there was something special and magical about that Hughes was just not able to replicate with any of these other one-off or even subsequent, like Home Alone 3. Not good. Really not good. So this, I will say, as a spoiler, I like Baby's Day Out significantly more than Home Alone 3.
I have not seen Home Alone 3, so I can't say on that one. Although, this is a problem I think a lot of filmmakers and movie studios have, is they have something successful and then they just kind of rehash it over and over again. And it gets tired over time. And it's not funny anymore because it's funny the first time you see it.
Yes.
You know, it's not funny. Jokes, you know, you see somebody slip and fall and hit their nuts on something. First time around, it's funny. Hit the third or fourth time around, it's not funny anymore because you know the humor, you know it. And that's what this is exactly. There's so many recycled comedic slapstick bits from Home Alone in this film. And at least in Home Alone, you've got the Macaulay Culkin's character outwitting these people
On purpose.
Yeah. Exactly. So you can root for him. This is just a baby crawling around in the street that somehow magically never gets seen by like anyone in this entire city except for like two people at various points. So yeah, it's harder. So I don't know about Home Alone 3 though.
Like him not being seen. I mean, like everybody's just so busy with their life that they don't
see a baby crawling directly underneath their feet.
Yeah. Or crawling across a busy street or anything. I mean, so that's where like the cartoonish, it's sort of like Looney Tunes in that way, combined with a lot of the slapstick stuff. We'll get into our thoughts, but let's talk about the cast and some of the players in the movie. And I will say the cast is probably why I like this movie way more than like Dennis the Menace or Home Alone 3, for example. The baby is played by twins that you wouldn't know, but that was common practice. Adam Robert Wharton and Jacob Joseph Wharton. And the baby's name here, rich kid name, Bennington Austin, aka Bink Cotwell IV. His mother is played by Laura Flynn Boyle. It was kind of a different role for her. I guess she had gone on to play kind of more high-powered women and not like a mother and wife, but she was fine. She was not outstanding. Like she's not one of the cast that I was like, oh my gosh, they're so good. Oh, and the father here is, let's see, what's his name? Matthew Glave, and he plays Bennington Bing, not Bink, but Bing Cotwell III. He's a familiar face. Did you recognize him?
Yeah, he's popped up in a lot of stuff over the years.
A lot of TV work, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of these, so I've seen ER, but I don't recall him from ER. But that's probably his most notable role. He was Dr. Dale Edson as a recurring character on ER. And I feel like I've seen the show Army Wives, but I didn't really get into it, but I feel like I've seen it. He played Lieutenant Colonel Evan Connors on that. And he is currently on the TV show The Rookie. So that is Matthew Glave, the dad.
Yeah. Done a few movies and stuff. Yeah, he's got a lot of credits to his name. He's one of those, you totally recognize him. He's not a big name, so you'd be like, oh, I know that guy, but I don't know his name.
You know his face, though, for sure.
Yeah, he's very recognizable.
Did you like our criminals?
You know, I like those actors.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know Brian Healy at all from this. This is the only thing I've ever seen him. He plays kind of the big doofus one. But Joe Mantegna and Joe Pantoliano,
Yeah, it's hard to. It's a mouthful. Pantoliano, aka
Pantoliano.
Joey Pants. Joey Pants.
Yeah, there you go. Joey Pant. Obviously are brilliant. And I mean, and Joe Pantoliano, can do comedy from the Goonies, right? Because he was so good in that. And he's got range. And Joe Mantegna is good because you think of him as more of a dramatic actor.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
to see him doing slapsticky comedy kind of stuff, it's fun to see him as well. So I thought the both of them were brilliant. And yeah, Brian was fine too. But again, he just kind of plays the big kind of goon.
He had some fun moments though. Yeah. So Joe Mantegna plays like kind of the head goon, right? His name is Eddie. He's in the Criminal Minds TV show, which I don't watch, but he's gotten pretty, like, he's a well-known name maybe from that. He voices Fat Tony on The Simpsons. I don't watch that show either, but if anybody knows that. One of his earlier roles, maybe not one of his earlier, but Godfather 3, was that 1990? Maybe.
Was it 1990? Was it that late, that Godfather?
It might have been.
No. Wow.
But
You're probably right. Like, I mean, it was
quite a
I'm
while.
thinking late 80s, but maybe it was 1990. Yeah, you're
I could be
probably right.
wrong.
No, I think you're right.
He plays Joey Zaza in that. And he was nominated for some Emmys for things I have not seen. He played Dean Martin in The Rat Pack, and then some other miniseries movies or specials that he was nominated for, The Starter Wife and The Last Dawn. But Joe Mantegna very specifically. So he plays Eddie, the main bad guy. And like maybe second hand guy is Norby, and that's Joey Pants. I love him. If he's in something, I think I'm not used to seeing him in this kind of a thing. Same with Joe Mantegna, but Bad Boys, he's really comedic in that. He plays their boss,
chief or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good in that.
Super well-known character actor. I was just talking with someone about the movie La Bamba, so this came to mind. He plays Richie Valence's manager in La Bamba. And we talked about him last season on our Kurt Russell and Patrick Swayze season because he was in the main season with Kurt Russell. I bet you have not seen that movie.
I have not seen that movie. No.
Joey is in that. Now, Vico is played by Brian Haley, and he's the lesser known. I think he has a familiar face also.
I thought he was somebody else because he does have a familiar face. And I'm like, oh, is that such and such guy? And then I looked him up a little bit and I'm like, nope, that's not the guy I was thinking of at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was in
He's
Gran
done a
Torino.
ton of stuff though.
Yeah. Like nothing real
memorable.
big. I guess he did have a recurring, I saw that he had a recurring role on the TV show Wings. Like that's probably the most episodes of a TV show he had. He was also in Little Giants, which I can't really picture right now. But I actually kind of got a kick out of Vico several times, just little things that he would do. Like they just kidnapped the baby and it's 3 criminals taking care of a baby. Like that part of it, I was like, oh, this is kind of funny. I'm like, I like this. That's funny. They don't know what they're doing. It's like 3 men and a baby, but criminal version. Mm-hmm. And in that, the scene where they're trying to change his diaper and get milk warmed up for him or whatever, Vico is shown eating Fruit Loops, but he overfills his bowl, like the mound of cereal, and he's holding it with his hand, like trying to keep it in the bowl while he's pouring milk on it. And I mean, it was just something very specific, but I don't know. I kind of liked some of those little things that these guys do. Now, because these are rich people, there's a nanny. And Cynthia Nixon plays the nanny. Apparently her name is Gilbertine, but do you recall them ever saying it?
I don't recall them ever saying your name. No.
I don't either. She's blonde in this. She's much younger. And is she supposed to be British?
I think she's supposed to be British. She definitely uses a bit of an accent in it.
I wasn't sure if it was like rich, posh,
Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah, I was going with this. She was like the British nanny because that's what you do if you're rich.
Yes.
You hire a British nanny to take care of your child for you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I wasn't entirely sure, but yeah, she's probably supposed to be British. Obviously, Cynthia Nixon, most famous for playing Miranda on Sex and the City. We have a very FBI agent-esque actor here playing an FBI agent. Dale Grissom is Fred Thompson.
Pretty much anytime you need somebody to play a cop
Yeah.
in any form, you hire Fred Thompson. If you look over his history, it's kind of very similar types of roles. Mm-hmm.
He's perfect for that kind of role.
Yep.
We talked about him on the Curly Sue episode. And now I'm like, was he a cop in that? I can't recall now. But probably, again, these are rich people. So they have a butler. And I don't think they say his name in it either, but he's credited as Mr. Andrews, played by John Neville. Also familiar face. Like there's a lot of these people in this that you're like, I know that person. But I couldn't find a show or a movie that I was like, yes, that's what I know him from. But he had a recurring guest role on The X-Files.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Did you recognize the guy that the police, he's like, oh, I saw the baby. And then he's just really trying to get a payday. And he's like, oh, just across the street. Did you recognize that guy?
No. Was I supposed to recognize him?
Yes.
Oh, who is he?
Mike Starr is his name.
Uh-huh.
He's a very familiar character actor.
Oh.
Like he's tall, burly, has this deep voice. He usually plays mobsters or police officers or like blue collar workers or tough guys. And Mike Starr with 2 R's. He played Frenchie in Goodfellas.
Oh, geez, I do recognize him now. Like I just looked him up. I did not put this together when I watched it, but you're right. I totally recognize him. I just looked him up on IMDb and is like from his picture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
totally
funny.
Recognizable.
Didn't catch it.
We talked about him in the Uncle Buck episode because he plays the clown that John Candy, I think he punches him out when he comes or something because he's a very obnoxious clown. There's 2 other not like they're in it for just a short while, but I wanted to bring them up because we've covered them. They're Hughes movie alums that he comes back to several times. One is Eddie Bracken. When this was his final live action film, Eddie Bracken was the older man in the veterans home.
Oh, that guy. Okay, yeah.
He played basically Walt Disney in Vacation. And he was also, I think, the toy store owner in, was it Home Alone 2? Yeah, I want to say. The toy store owner in Home Alone 2, Eddie Bracken.
So he just likes throwing him in these little spots throughout his films. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. And also Neil Flynn, we just talked about him because he also played a police officer in Home Alone 3. So Neil Flynn.
Yeah, Neil Flynn's
playing a police officer here. Yeah.
Most famous for Scrubs.
Yeah, that's Neil Flynn. Yes. Bruce Broughton. I don't know if I'm saying that properly, but he did the score, the music for this, which we have talked about him before because he also did the score also in 1994 with John Hughes, Miracle on 34th Street. And last season, Tombstone. He scored Tombstone.
He scored Tombstone?
Yeah.
I would not have put those together because, I mean, Tombstone is such a fantastic film to go from that to... But I will say the music really plays a role in this film. Like throughout the entire thing, you notice it, and it really goes along with the slapsticky and comedic to help highlight the film. It is noticeable, and we even talked about that when we watched it. We're like, you really notice how the music plays a role in this film.
Mm-hmm. He only had 3 weeks to score this also because originally Jerry Goldsmith, Oscar-winning composer, was slated to score this, but he had to bow out. He was doing The Shadow also in 1994. I don't know what that is.
It's kind of a superhero-y action film starring The Shadow.
The Shadow. So Bruce was brought in to score this, and then other movies that you'd know him from. Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh, the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right.
Disney's Rescuers Down Under, as well as Homeward Bound. God, that'll get you, right?
Yeah, I love those Rescuers movies. Yeah.
And also, Bruce got an Oscar nomination for his score of Silverado, which I have not seen. Good film. Also, the 1994 version of the 20th Century Fox fanfare sound.
Oh, the sound effect? Oh, wow, good for him.
Yeah, so that's Bruce Broughton. I don't know how to properly pronounce that. Someone might correct me if I am wrong. Okay, so this movie did not make money. It lost money. There were contrary dollar figures. So I read both 17 million gross as well as 30 million gross. Either way, failure because its budget was nearly 50 million, 48 million to be exact.
Where did that money go on this
Right?
film? Wow.
At the time, it was unheard of for a film that didn't have any major leading stars in the cast to get a budget like that.
Yeah, they were all. I mean, their names that we recognize, and I know Laura
Now,
Flynn Boyle was pretty big in the '90s. There's still no way none of them would have gotten that huge of a paycheck.
this is the first film of his three-picture, $50 million contract with Fox, which produced this movie, Miracle on 34th Street, and Home Alone 3.
Oh, Fox must have been pissed.
Yep, because all of those were box office failures.
They're like, oh, we got him after his prime. Damn us.
So let's capitalize on this Home Alone business. Can you just make that over and over again?
Yeah.
Now, clearly, the way that the movie ends, it is set up for a sequel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Baby's Trip to China. And that was a planned sequel, but it did get canceled, Milo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so both commercially, clearly, but also critically derided. So the sequel got scrapped, but they used it to dissuade criminals from stealing a much more popular print
Oh, yes. I heard this
of
little
a
piece of
movie
trivia.
in,
Yes.
in 97. So it did technically exist for a time in 97, but as a way of throwing off would-be thieves from stealing prints meant to be sent to theaters because it was used to obscure its actual movie's title, which was
Titanic.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild that theater it doesn't
They're
I
like,
not
nobody's
surprised.
going to steal Prince of Baby's Day Out, too. So it's the Prince of Titanic in that.
But is this
And
a thing that was happening that they had to, make plans against apparently?
apparently, I wasn't aware that that was an issue, a thing, but
Yeah.
apparently so.
That's our cast of characters. That's who made Baby's Day Out. I hadn't seen this, you hadn't either. What were your expectations going in and did your watching experience differ from your expectations?
So I tried to go in because, again, I hadn't watched the trailer or anything like that. I just knew the basics of the plot. And so I tried to go in looking at it from the point of view of like, if I was a parent watching this with my kid type of an attitude, would I appreciate this? And I even struggled with that. I feel like if I was watching it with a child, the child probably would have been bored watching this film and lost interest. It does have good moments. And there were things that I picked up. Like I mentioned, the music I thought was really nicely done throughout. As you mentioned, great actors, probably struggling to do this convincingly. They're like, and I appreciated the fact that now if this were made, they probably would have CGI'd a lot of it. So they actually did really good work with putting the baby in situations. I'm sure a lot of green screen and angles, and I think there's a scene that looks like a pretty obvious animatronic baby crossing the first beam when the baby leaves the first building that they're in and crosses that little beam before Joe Mantegna falls. That looked kind of animatronic. He was very like, but in general, I do think they did a really good job with the way it was shot and the special effects. So like that kind of stuff I keyed in. But I struggle with my suspension of disbelief with the number of times that these guys would be dead from their various falls and injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought the gorilla was nicely done too, actually. Like it was very believably done gorilla costume.
It's beyond a man in a gorilla suit. Well, there were operators of it. I want to say it was in like a much more dramatic movie also, like Gorillas in the Mist or something like that. But yeah, they did a great job with gorilla.
Yeah. It was really very believably looking. Like it wasn't like just some dude in a gorilla costume, essentially. So it had a lot of good qualities to it. But Yeah, it's just some of these prank falls and injuries. I'm just like, I'm just not buying it. Like, I'm not buying their lack of extreme injuries. And I couldn't buy into the fact that nobody in the city sees this freaking child crawling around all over the place. Oh, by the way, why is this child's hands not black by the
I
end of
know.
crawling around on the ground?
I know. Oh my God. It's not like Ferris Bueller, but in that we kind of get a tour of Chicago through the movie like we did with Ferris Bueller and obviously John Hughes' Chicago. Yes. Go on.
It's that's that balance of trying to buy into this world for a family sitting down and watching it. And I think maybe if it would have been animated, it actually would have been better because then you could buy into that a little bit.
Yeah, because there were a lot of cartoony elements
yeah.
to it. However, part of me wants to play the devil's advocate in that, well, you could say the same about Marv and Harry with, what happens to them in Home Alone. They'd also be dead several times, right?
Yeah.
So why are we okay with it for Home Alone and not for Baby's Day Out?
And I think part of it has to do with we saw it for the first time in Home Alone. And this, we're just seeing it again.
Good point.
Maybe that has something to do with it. And I feel like they tried to do it up a bit more. Like the heights of these buildings that these guys fall from is, yes, in Home Alone, they're falling down a flight of stairs. They're not falling from like a 20-story construction site and surviving. So I feel like it's more extreme and more obvious in this. In Home Alone, you can be like, okay, I'll buy into it.
Yeah, that's true. It's almost like you have to up the ante, though, so that it's not just... Because as I talked about in Home Alone 3, there were far more hijinks and pranks with the bad guys. There were also 4 bad guys in that.
A big number of bad guys, too.
Yes, but it didn't... I was bored by it. It just kept going and going and going. I will say, I hear you, and I think in the pro column, not having it CGI, because that shit bugs the fuck out of me. I watched Tangent. I watched Nobody 2 with Bob Odenkirk last night.
Oh, don't tell me it's not good because I love Nobody.
Same.
And it's up. Nobody 2's on my watch list. I just haven't watched it yet.
Yes, I really liked Nobody. I love Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah.
It's not always the case. Like the first scene, I was like, oh, fuck. The fighting is all CGI. And it just looked like a video game. And I was pissed. But it does get better. There's very clear CGI. Like, so that takes me out of it. I'm like, I'm watching a video game.
Yeah.
But the whole movie's not that bad. But the first scene is really bad CGI.
Okay.
So I only bring that up to say I am so glad that these were practical effects. It's just better. The baby, I did want to point out, one of maybe the stunt double was Vern Troyer. Did you see that?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that in the trailer.
Well, so that's interesting. But yes, I'm sure it was also like a fake baby or like a doll. But also in the pro column, the things that I don't know. Is this a real book, by the way? Is Baby's Day Out a real book?
I don't know.
I should have looked. Whether or not it's a real book, it probably is not a real book. But in the movie, the baby reads this book every day before nap time, and it's this Baby's Day Out in the city of Chicago. And so that's how the baby just kind of follows the scenes in the book. Because, he can figure out how to get from point A to point B. But
yeah,
there's
conveniently,
a taxi. Yeah.
It seems to work out every time. Yeah.
There's a taxi, there's a bus, there's a department store, there's a zoo, there's, what am I missing? A construction site. So I think for me, the fact that the pranks and how these guys get in trouble was different enough for me. Like, I kind of enjoyed that it wasn't just regurgitating things from Home Alone, but there were a lot of very similar things. But yes, they'd be dead immediately. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, the realistic effects. What else did you say? I will say you're not wrong. And maybe I was trying to find good in this. I went in with 0 expectations. I had no idea what I was in for, except that I was like, I did see that it had a fairly high IMDb rating. So I was like, it can't be abysmal. So I watched it and it actually exceeded my zero expectations. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. And I think it's because some of the things I just mentioned, but also the bad guys. I loved them. I mean, there's the very standard formulaic bad guy, like bad guys, in, particularly in John Hughes movies, are very cartoonish. They're bumbling, there's infighting. But I think, so that's at play here. But these guys, and maybe it's because they're solid, good actors, that they gave us good performances despite the movie that they were in. And I liked the dynamic between the three of them. I found them fun and funny, so much so that I was rooting for them to catch the baby in every scene, because they just miss him. They always just miss the baby who is escaping their grasp. So, I mean, that's kind of my overall thoughts about it. What do you think about that, Milo?
No, I agree. You make valid points. And I agree. I think if you would have had worse actors playing the bad guys, it really would have detracted from the movie. Because, and especially Joe Mantegna, and I thought his face expressions at various points when he's getting injured, just the winging of the eyes and very cartoony. So it was really fun to watch some of their reactions when they're being injured. And like the bit on the park bench, which again, so unbelievable, where he's on the park bench and he's got the baby under his coat on his lap. And then somehow the baby manages to get a hold of his Zippo, light the Zippo, and then light his, the crotch of his pants on fire. That little bit where he's just kind of playing with it, and I thought was really well done and funny. But again, so unbelievable that I'm like, I want to laugh at this because he's being really funny about it. But how are these cops, A, that stupid?
Yes.
B, how did this child light a Zippo? Like, as an adult, we struggle to light Zippos. There's no way the kid is going to be able to flick the little thing to light it.
He's 9 months old, so he doesn't even walk or talk, right?
No, he
He
can stand at a couple points. He holds himself up. And I will say props to them for getting the performance out of the baby. They did a lot of good shots of this child like turning and looking and reacting, which I'm sure must have taken a long time. There's the scene with the baby where he falls asleep with the gorilla, and then they have to kind of pull the baby away from the gorilla while the baby's still asleep. So they must have had to wait for the baby to fall asleep and then be sound asleep before they could shoot this. So they're just probably sitting around the set being as quiet as possible, waiting for this child to fall asleep so they could shoot this little scene.
I actually, in my mind, wondered how they got that. Like, how is the baby not making up? Yeah, probably. I mean, 94. Yeah, the baby was good. If you've listened to Retromade at all, you guys know I'm not a big fan of kids in movies. There are exceptions. This being a baby, I think, helped. Like, he couldn't be annoying. He's not talking yet. He's very cute, too. Like the baby, there's a baby at the end of She's Having a Baby that we just covered, and it's not a cute baby. I know that makes me sound like a horrible person, but a lot of babies just aren't cute. And so thankfully they got a cute baby for this.
Yeah, they did a good job with the casting of the two little boys that played the baby. And,
but they didn't do anything after that.
I looked them up. That's their only credit, really.
Interesting.
Guess they decided, they were like, we had our experience. We're getting out of the business.
Yeah. Peak at 9 months.
Yeah.
I did notice something that popped out to me is the place that they're hiding out. I don't know if it's their apartment, the bad guys, that like clock tower thing that they're in.
Yeah.
If that's where they live or if that's just their hidey hole.
I feel like I kind of got the vibe that they maybe lived there or it was hard to tell if they lived there or they were just using it as a hideout, but it was well furnished for being a hideout. Again, how the police and stuff came out on, if we should spoil this for audiences, but
go ahead.
The fact that like they're driving down the road and conveniently drive past this building, that then the baby is conveniently looking out the window and conveniently says Baba or whatever the keyword is for that
boo boo
or something like that.
He says,
Bobo.
yeah.
And they just like, oh, this building. And keep in mind, it's an entire building as well. So not only do they surround the entire building and the bad guys come out, just hard time buying into it.
Well, and that scene shows the bad guys like recovering from their
Injuries.
insane injuries throughout the course of this happens in one day.
Yeah.
But they're at a point where they're afraid of the baby now because he's caused so much havoc to their well-being that they're like, oh, we don't want anything to do with him now. So they raise their hands and get arrested. When they show that, where I was going with that is, it must have really been there where they shot it. There's a Woolworths. Are you familiar with that store at all?
I am. I remember when being a little kid, a house we lived in, there was a Woolworth a couple blocks away from where we lived. And I remember being a little kid and going to the Woolworth. Yeah. It's like, for listeners, it's an old department store, but it was precursor to, I don't know, but it wasn't, the thing with Woolworths, it was like a Sears / Target or whatever, but much smaller. And
wasn't its shtick like affordability? It was
Yeah.
called like the Five and Dime. Like they used to call things the Five and Dime store. And it had a lunch counter too in it.
yeah, some of them did. I don't remember the one that we went to having one. I remember they had a toy section. Because as a kid, of course, you're like, oh, go to the toy section at Woolworth and get some kind of toy, a cat gun or something.
Our small town had one, and it must have closed when I was very small because I only have super vague memories. Like I can picture where it is and the sign in our downtown, and I can picture the lunch counter, and that's about it. But it was a thing. And so this is 94, and there's still a Woolworths. So I looked up when they closed their last store. Do you know what year that was, Milo?
It's probably one of those scenarios where they closed them all except for one that stayed open until 2002.
You're close, 97.
Oh.
But it had
So it would have worked.
Yeah, it had I think I read over 400 stores at one time in the US, I think. And so, yeah, Woolworths.
I think they were kind of like the precursor to the big chain stores that we now
Like a
have
Walmart.
everywhere. Yeah, Walmart, exactly. They were the precursor to that.
Yeah, you're right. So, do you think that the ridiculous nature of it accidentally stumbled into the entertaining category? Was this kind of a slog for you to get through, or?
It was. And here's, you mentioned it right in the opening, that it goes a bit long. And I think this is where that conflict between the director and John Hughes came out. And they both probably just like, you know what? Screw it. Here's the
Yeah.
film. We won't edit it down, or we won't, trim it up to get the pacing in or dial it in. Because I think if they could have done a bit more with the edit that would have tightened it up, and it wouldn't have felt so long. Because you're getting towards the end and you're like, oh, come on, another prank fall. Oh, another time of these guys falling and get smacked on the head by something. Like, when is it going to end?
You're right. Each place they go, the zoo, the park, the construction site, lasted a little too long. If each of those were tightened up a bit, I think it would have a better effect,
It would have helped.
possibly. So that would have helped. What did you think of the ransom? It was $5 million ransom is what they're planning. I don't know why, because everything is so expensive and there's billionaires now, that I was like, $5 million. God, you're
That's nothing.
shortchanging. Yeah, you're shortchanging. Split between three too. So I'm like, you're shortchanging yourselves here.
Yeah, I guess they had to, maybe this family is rich, but not as rich, or how much access. But 1994, maybe 5 million seems like back then that would have been the right amount to ask for. Yeah, I didn't give that too much thought, but you're right. Now it'd be like, I want 5 billion or something, billion dollars.
Or at least like 20 million or so. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I was like, 5 million seems low.
Yeah. Well, they weren't the best criminals. I think they established they were doofuses. So maybe
They were.
They just didn't realize they should have asked for more.
That's true. So let's see, which episode was it? Actually, I think it was the Home Alone 3 episode. I don't know that much about Siskel and Ebert. I don't know their dynamic really. But in that episode, we talked about how there was a massive disagreement in terms of how they rated it. And they thought each other were crazy. Well, that happened here too in their ratings, but it was swapped. So I just love this drama with Siskel and Ebert that apparently is a thing that I was unaware of. So, although he normally did not enjoy films which show children or infants in danger, Gene Siskel gave this movie a thumbs up, which is the opposite of what happened in Home Alone 3, while Roger Ebert disliked the movie and told Siskel that he should be ashamed of himself. I guess that's a popular internet video, their disagreement about this. But
Yeah.
I find that really strange because it was Ebert that said in the Home Alone 3 episode that he thought Home Alone 3 was superior to the first two.
Oh, no.
And it was Siskel that is like, are you okay? What's happening to you? So I find it really strange that in a matter of a couple years, they like their opinions about basically the same movie were completely swapped. What do you think
It
about
is
that?
pretty funny. And especially because, yeah, you're right. Like they're kind of the same movie, essentially, using the same types of jokes. It must be maybe the night that they watched them or whatever. And, because there is an aspect of if you go to the movie theater to watch a film and the environment. So maybe that played into it. Who knows? It is funny, though, because I watched that clip as well of the two of them bickering over this film. And I kind of agree with one. He's like, and then you watch this, and what is this teaching children that they can crawl around in the like, it's a bad influence on children.
Yeah, true. You won't get hit by a car. You won't fall off a building. Yeah. Interesting. I will say, I found this. Again, I think I was in the right frame of mind to watch this because I clearly have a more rosy outlook on it than you did, despite this so not being my jam. I was just feeling overly generous, perhaps. But some of these things, like Gene Siskel liking it, Roger Ebert, in a 2009 essay that was published, because I think John Hughes passed in 2009, 2008, 2009. So it was closely after John Hughes's passing. He wrote an essay, Ebert did, and he included a tidbit about a trip to India where he visited the largest movie theater in Calcutta. And so he asked, I don't know, maybe the theater owner, if Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope from 1977 had been their most successful American film. And the theater owner said, no, it was Baby's Day Out, a Hughes comedy about a baby wandering through a big city, which played there for more than a year.
No way. What?
Yes.
What's wrong with you, India?
This is Calcutta. I'll get to this.
Calcutta,
If you're
sorry.
thinking, this is particularly in Calcutta.
Okay.
And so much so, they liked it so much that they made an Indian version, a remake of it in 95 called Sisindri. I didn't know that, but Baby's Day Out was a big thing in Calcutta, apparently. However, the most successful American film in all of India was Jurassic Park from 93.
Okay, so the cafe owner was wrong.
At the time. I'm sure something else has surpassed that by now,
Probably.
but at that time.
But either way, it would still must have been huge enough there for him to mention it. And if it played there for a full year, wow, that's crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, of all American movies, it's interesting. I always kind of like seeing who either auditioned or was considered for some of the roles. Lorraine Cotwell, played by Laura Flynn Boyle. Basically, all the popular actresses at the time were considered. Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox, because Friends was becoming a thing at the time. Bonnie Hunt, Helen Hunt. And now I am wondering if they're related. Probably not. Hunt is just a
Common enough name.
common name. Brooke Shields, Nicole Kidman, and Debbie Mazar, who I love.
Oh, yeah.
I like her a lot. So I think that would have been interesting.
I think she would have been good. Like all the rest of them, I could see it. But I think Debbie Mazar would have taken that interesting take on the character, which would have made her probably would have given her more depth as a character.
Yeah, she was kind of a throwaway, like mother who doesn't know anything about her kid, but suddenly obviously it's her kid, so she wants him back, but she doesn't take care of him, the nanny does. Anyway, For Eddie, the main bad guy, Tom Selleck was offered it and turned it down because he felt it was too similar to Three Men and a Baby from 1987. And I concur.
I agree. He's like, look, I got this movie, and this movie's great. Everybody loves it. I don't need to put my name on that. No.
Yep. Also, do we ever see Tom Selleck as a bad guy?
No, that's the other one. Yeah. When would we have ever seen him as a bad guy? That would have been a different take. And doing slapstick comedy. He did the baseball one where he goes to Japan, which is comedic. I mean, he's done comedic stuff, but not slapsticky comedic. Boy, yeah, that'd be hard to see him doing that.
Interesting. Others, some of these are very on the nose, like Joe Pesci, Bob Hoskins, and Daniel Stern. Like, let's just put the bad guys from Home Alone in this. Like, that would have been ridiculous. But Tommy Lee Jones, I mean, he plays a bad guy, but that would have been interesting.
And I'm curious how far that conversation went.
Right.
Okay, we're like, what about Tommy Lee Jones? And that's as far as it went. Because, I couldn't see them sending this to TommyLee Jones and Tommy Lee Jones saying, oh, yeah, I'll consider that. Like, I couldn't imagine.
But they sent it to Tom Selleck.
That's true. I guess enough for him to turn it down. Yeah.
But yes, you're right. A lot of these considered for the part are probably just like execs throwing out names. Yeah. But Danny Glover, Steve Martin, I can see Steve Martin.
I can definitely see Steve Martin. Yeah.
Tim Allen and Kelsey Grammer. Yeah. I am just not a fan of Kelsey Grammer. So, are you a fan?
I am a fan.
Mr. Seattle.
Yeah, I got to support my Frasier. I am a fan of his, but he's kind of a one-trick pony, Kelsey Grammer. I mean, nothing against him. He does it really well, but that's it. There's not a lot of variety. Anything that you ever see him from, the Beast he played in X-Men to this submarine movie he did, it's kind of just the same.
Okay. Yeah, I concur. Vigo, Woody Harrelson, and Dave Coulier and Rob Schneider were considered.
I can see Dave Coulier. Yeah.
I mean, Woody Harrelson.
And Woody Harrelson's hilarious.
I don't particularly like Dave Coulier either. I don't think he's funny. Woody, I can see Woody. Now, there's one very good actor known for his dramatic roles that I was like, but I don't think he was anybody in 94. Adrian Brody.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Vigo.
Yeah. He probably wasn't nobody back then. Yeah. I can see him.
Norby, who is played by Joey Pantoliano. Others considered for his role, John Ratzenberger, who is...
Oh, they could have got Woody Harrelson and John Ratzenberger.
Yeah.
And Kelsey Grammer. It would have been like a Cheers reunion.
Oh, my God. Yes. Yeah. Good call. Also, Paul Rubens.
Oh, wow.
Pee-wee
Anything
Herman?
other than Pee-wee Herman?
Yeah, that would have been tricky. And Jim Varney, a.k.a. Ernest.
Yeah.
I can see that. He plays that kind of a role pretty well.
Yeah. And to be honest, Paul Rubin had some range. It's just he's so associated with Pee-wee Herman that it's hard to picture him doing anything other than Pee-wee Herman.
Yes.
But if you see him step out of it, he's actually really good. So
I agree with you. Also, I feel like he's suffered, which would not be a scandal at all now, given nothing is a scandal now.
Not anymore.
All day, every day, scandal. But for whatever reason, and I don't recall when, but maybe around this time, his the porn theater, whatever. What even happened? Like he got caught jacking himself off?
Basically, he got caught going to an adult theater and
big whoop.
Doing what guys do when they go to adult theaters, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, oh, maybe the scandal was apparently
Pee-wee Herman.
The people involved with children are asexual. So parents apparently are asexual also. So.
Yeah, he got into a few little controversial things, but now nobody would blink an eye at any of it. No, they'd be like, well, there's still adult theaters. That's what they'd say now.
Yeah. What are you doing leaving your house?
Yeah, but come on. You have a phone, right? Come on.
And then I also, for Gilbertine, Jodie Foster was considered. And yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. I doubt it would have gone any further than her being like, you want me to do what? I'm Jodie Foster.
Yeah,
come on.
Exactly. How many Academy Awards had I won by this time?
Exactly. Thanks.
So apparently they were punching above their weight, clearly for this. I clearly liked this a little bit more than Milo, but I think both of our opinions are valid. But it is what it is. So if you've made it this far, you might as well leave a 5-star rating and review. It is the easiest way to help Retromade stick around, you guys. So please, please. But that's our look back at Baby's Day Out and A Slice of 94. Before we wrap, I want to get your final thoughts. It sounds like it didn't surprise you at all. And also, after your final thoughts, please let us know what you've got coming up next and where they can keep up with you in your latest episodes, Milo.
Yeah, so overall, I'm going with the thumbs down side of Siskel and Ebert. It didn't work for me, but like I said at the intro, I'm also not the target audience for this. Though I can appreciate a good children's film, just not this one. Recycled jokes, even with talented actors and good moments. I'm not going to fault anyone for liking it. Like, I'm not going to be like, how dare you like this film? Like I said, I can see it has some good qualities. And if you do enjoy it, props to you. Have fun watching it and go to town. That's my...
Go to town.
Yeah. 80s and 90s Uncensored. Go to the 80sand90s.com. That's the website. From there, you can find out where the podcast is. It's on all podcast players of your choice. Different format coming up. It should be a lot of fun. The first new episode of the new format, I think, drops. Well, I don't know when this comes out, but coming up, might be out, might not be when you listen to this. And keep an eye out for the one where Katie comes on and we discuss who will win in a cage match between Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Tune in to find out.
Ooh, on that note, until next time, be kind, rewind.